You can do star wipes. Oh, that would make my life.
One more thing.
One more thing. One more thing.
Hello and welcome to a really special episode of One More Thing. This is something that I've never done before because it's never happened to One More Thing before, but I've been given a whole EP of amazing tracks strictly for the Patreon Massive from an amazing label from an incredible bunch of artists who we're going to meet and chat to now. It's the Grand Theft Audio crew, or a segment thereof, really. It's a sprawling family kind of based out of Manchester but dotted all around the world. I've got some of their most talented individuals and we'll be speaking to others throughout this call as well with the magic art of editing. But yeah, it's Grand Theft Audio headed up by Solar. So big up. Hello everybody. Like this could be chaos because there's quite a lot of us on the call, isn't there?
Yeah. Nice to be here, Dave.
No, nice to have you all here. This is amazing. Thank you. I mean, James and Robbie, you run the label there, so we'll start with you. Thank you so much for doing this. This is awesome.
No problem, man. Thanks for everything you've done for us in the past few months.
Cool, I mean, seriously, we owe you a big debt of gratitude because all of the good things that are happening to us now are as a direct result or an indirect result of the faith that you showed in us when you did the UKF interview with us. And so, you know, this was the way that we thought that we could repay you, you know.
Oh, amazing. It has been like a really wild and a hugely prolific year for you guys, and obviously it's been a matter of weeks since you dropped the album Stars Align. So yeah, how's all that gone since we last spoke?
Amazingly, man. Yeah, honestly couldn't really be happy with it. We got number 7 in the Juno album charts. The streams have been crazy on Spotify. The UKF upload has done really well as well.
It's been really wild. It's led to some people popping up saying, want a collab, bro, that we just thought were maybe like a bit out of our league, you know. Not going to name names till the tunes are there. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, some of the people we're working with, we wouldn't have even thought of, you know, that we'd be working with them before this album. So it's been a bit of a door opener for us.
Brilliant. A well-deserved door opener. That's great. And I think Pico de Gallo, I think that first got aired on a mix by Shaper, who was meant to be with us, and I'm sure he's going to join the call.
Yeah, he'll be here.
He'll be here.
But that was first on.
Going to make a dramatic entrance like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Have you got his theme music ready, Rob?
That was on a mix that he did for me a couple of months ago, and I think that was the first time the world heard that tune as well.
Yeah.
James, J-File, where are you speaking to me from?
I'm in Bristol right now. Yeah. DMB's, well, one of the many heartlands, I'd say. I don't want to offend anyone.
I would say it's one of its most spiritual stomping grounds, certainly at the moment. It's one of the only cities where people actually move there for drum and bass, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's DMB every single night of the week. Any person you want to see, you can catch them pretty much every week in Bristol, which is pretty mad.
Brilliant. Does that do people really appreciate it though when they're living there, or is there a sense of complacency, like they've just got this open buffet all of the time that, you know, like people in other towns and stuff just around the UK, or certainly further afield like in the US or farther flung places in Europe, would chop their arm or slap their nam for?
No, I don't think so, Dave, because like we had lockdown, didn't we? We couldn't do anything for a year and a half, so everyone's mad for it now. You know, people go wild on a Tuesday night. They'll be out till 4 or 5 in the morning, you know, after parties. It's thriving, mate. Love it.
Brilliant. Go on, cool. And Eska, I mean, you're based in Albuquerque, so home of Breaking Bad. Are people going wild on a Tuesday night? Maybe not on crystal meth, though.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure. I don't make it out too much. I've only lived here for like 3 years and as you know, like COVID hit, and then, you know, I just spend almost all my time, you know, in the studio basically. But soon I'll be making it out and adventuring. I've been out a little bit, but I can't make any, you know, real judgments on how things are going out there right now. So in the city. So yeah.
I mean, it seems like a great time to be making drum and bass in America, though, full stop, though. There seems to be this really reevaluated and renewed and refreshed interest in drum and bass and in the new generation of people making drum and bass as well. It seems very exciting at the moment, even though it's a really sprawling landmass to try and define into a nice, catchy answer for you here. But it does seem like America and drum and bass are on a good track at the moment. Like,
cool. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I kind of, I don't I try to keep involved and keep my eye on things, but it's really hard to, really tell and to hear, other people's perspective. It's really good because, I mean, I've been at it now for like 23 years. So it's just been the train I've been on for a long time. So I don't really know how it looks from the outside, I guess. So,
cool. Let's talk about the tracks. That you guys are giving me. James, man, tell me all about Happy Buddha. Real rough tune. I love it.
So I went on my friend's stag a little while ago. We went out in London and we just had lots of cocktails, like lots of different cocktails. We went to this like Western themed cocktail bar where the people like acted a Western scene around us where they made you like moonshine. It's called like the Moonshine Saloon. Anyway, I got rat-assed, I'm not going to lie. And we were out somewhere near, where were we, in like Bermondsey or something like that. And then I got this cocktail, it was called a Happy Buddha. And kind of since then, the name stuck with me. And when James said that you wanted us to do a track, I was just like, wow, that's crazy, first of all. So I was like, well, I want to make something that's kind of like a bit different than what I normally made. So I made like a jump up tune.
A jump up tune named after a cocktail as well. Amazing.
Yeah, so that's the story behind that one. And then kind of as well, because it's got like the little whoop vocal sound in it as well, it kind of brought it back to me whooping around with my cocktails. Yeah, exactly.
Proper Hindu vibes.
Yes.
Brilliant. Cool. Eska, man, tell me about algorithms, something that we are all at the mercy of all of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just about algorithms, and everyone's just fighting those algorithms to like, have, whatever it is they want to surface, to be up there. But yeah, I mean, it just, James came and asked me for a tune for this, and I just sat down and just kind of, I mean, that's how I work. I just sit down and just create, and it's just kind of how I like just release my emotions and my everything. And like, it's how I do my thing, I guess. I don't really sit down and think I'm going to do something certain, I guess, per se. But yeah, I just kind of sat and made that tune and gave it to you guys, and you liked it. So I was extremely happy that I got to be involved in everything. Yeah, it's very cool. I appreciate it.
Amazing. So when you sit down and let it flow, do you go into that kind of flow state, or is that quite a common thing for you to do if you're in the right mindset and stuff, where, you'll come to the end of a tune and you don't quite remember the details of making it because you've just been in that zone?
I mean, a lot of the time, because yeah, I mean, I spend 8 hours. I have like, in my other office, I spend 8 hours working there, my day job. And then I come in here and I spend 30 to 40 hours a week in the studio. So it's like on top of everything, it's just, it's hard to remember every detail, but it is, I don't have to get into a mood or anything. I just sit down and just go. Like I'm just able to work.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So like no writer's block isn't something that you suffer very often?
No, not at all.
Wow. Any producer watching this now who does suffer writer's block is going to be thinking like, right.
What a wring his neck.
I guess the way I've always looked at it is like, I'm never short of ideas, but whether those ideas are good or not, that's a whole nother thing, I guess.
I remember how fast you made your album for us. And every tune's amazing as well. It's not like it was a rush job.
Yeah. I was like, because it was started out as a 6-track EP, Eska's album. It just feels weird calling him Eska.
I was just going to say
Eska. Yeah. So he sent us like a 6-track EP. He's like, "Oh, could I extend it by a couple of tunes, make it an 8-track EP?" And then, well, I might as well do an album. If you're doing 8 tracks, you might as well do 13 at that point. So. Yeah, like we knew that we wanted to write an album at some point to come out on Grand Theft Audio, so we sent him as a canary down the mine to put out the first the first album on Grand Theft Audio, so that we could learn from all the mistakes we made with his album. No, but jokes aside, his album's absolutely amazing, and people should definitely go and check that out now. It's called Solstice.
Wow, brilliant! That's like an accidental album then as well.
Yeah, the man's got quality-quantity ratio down perfectly, I think.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Do you suffer writer's block at all, James?
Yeah, sometimes. I have done recently, actually. I had a bit of like on and off year, but like when it flows, it flows, and then when it don't flow, it don't flow. Do you know what I mean? I think for me, the mixing part of it, I find that more difficult than the creative part. Like the creative bit's a bit more natural to me. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try not to let it bother me. Do you know what I mean? If it happens, if it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'll just kind of do something else, like watch some Sample Genie or something, or like some tutorials, or make some drums or something. Do you know what I mean?
Get the creative juices flowing in a different way then, really, isn't it? So James and Robbie, I mean, because you work in a duo, I guess you combat writer's block in a completely
Well,
different way by bouncing
you'd
off
think
each other.
so, but actually, most of our early career, like most of the time, there's nothing to lose in Echidna. We had severe writer's block. Once we became solo, we still had that writer's block for like a couple of years, and then around the start of lockdown, we just got into a routine, a really good routine, and we've sort of refined the way that we do certain processes. And there's so much that we do that's quite boring. Like, for example, like vocal processing or mix downs. If we're not in a creative mood, we just work on improving stuff that we've already created, and then we end up with some. I call it an admin lunch where all of a sudden we have to do so much label stuff that it takes 2 days and we can't write. By the time you're able to write again, you're like, oh, I really want to write. I've had 2 days of just doing like data entry and pitching to YouTube channels and this and that and the other. And so you get hungry for it again because you've not been allowed to do it.
Yeah, that's a really, really good idea. And that, I mean, that is the reality of being an independent artist, being a freelance, because you're both full-time on the music as well, aren't you? Which is quite a rarity in our niche, I would say, these days, really.
And it still feels like we don't have enough time. I don't know how people go and work as a builder for 9 hours a day, come home and do 2 hours 3 times a week and make progress in their career. I literally don't understand. It blows my mind because it takes so much time and effort that those people deserve medals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think limitation, people say it all of the time in lots of different contexts, but limitation breeds creativity sometimes. And sometimes you just have those little windows. A lot of people who've just become parents find that as well. Suddenly they're not able to look through folders and folders of kick drum samples, and they just go, right, okay, fuck it, and just go straight, kind of more go off their gut instinct. And I've just realized that I haven't actually asked you guys about the tune that you've done as well from Dusk with Pixis. So I think right now I'm going to click my fingers, and by the magic of really cheesy, corny editing, and here we are. We are now joined by Pixis and Perplex. How are you both doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. No, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving us music as well. Before we talk about the music, Pixis, what does Grand Theft Audio mean to you?
I'm brand new. This is well, I've worked with James and Robbie before on Headspace stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is like my first outing, one of a few that we've got in the pipeline.
Oh, cool.
But what I do want to say is working with James and Robbie is so easy and so professional, and everything gets done like that. And I'm that sort of person. So if I need something, it's answered, it's done, the meetings are done, the questions are answered. So what it means to me is obviously good friends and very good business ethic.
Brilliant. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Probably a touch of impatience that we both share. Everything needs to be done, and everything's listed down. And they've got their little diary, and I've got my little diary. And yeah, I mean, we're patiently impatient, or are we impatiently patient?
Either on.
Well, I'll be one, and you can be the other, and then it will just.
Okay.
Tell me about From Dusk. How did it come about?
Well, I hit up Pixis and said, I've got this sort of good idea to get Dave a few tracks, like a little few tracks from Grand Theft Audio. Have you got anything that might fit for a collab, any half-finished tunes? And she said, yeah, I've got this one. It's, one that I started a while ago. What do you think? Didn't you send over a couple? And that was the one that me and Robbie said were. Yeah, we always like getting a couple of options because one will normally jump out at you.
I think I sent you 2 or 3 actually. But yeah, that one was originally called Confidential, wasn't it? And
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
started writing that, and actually I was going to collab with Conrad Subs on that one.
Oh really?
A long time ago. Yeah, but you know how things work out, and it didn't work out. But that one I wrote, wow, quite a long time ago now, at least 2 years, I think.
Wow.
I didn't really know where to take it. So you can sort of hear this. That's what I like about this one. You can hear what's Pixis in the track, and you can hear what's Solar in the track. And I sort of had all these pianos and violins and things going on, but I didn't really know how to play the drums and the bass into the track. And yeah, the boys just knew what to do with it. So yeah.
I think another collab with us was on the cards anyway, and this is the perfect like place to do it and place to put it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when you're making lots of tracks, like then some stuff just sort of like blurs in with other things. But there are two things that I remember from making this track with you. One is we wanted to call it Dusk, and you were like, because you do all the publishing for everyone, so you search the word Dusk, and you're like, there's 93 tracks already called Dusk.
Yeah. It's like, can we add a word in?
Another word to it.
Yeah.
Okay. And it took us longer to think of the other word to go before Dusk.
Yeah.
We didn't change it too much than the other one. And the other thing is we left too much of your stuff in. Like, so we tried to you had a bass line in there already.
Yeah.
And we just sort of messed with it, made it a bit thicker and darker, and sent it back to you going, what are you doing? We don't want that bass. You do the bass. You didn't like it. You were like, no, scrap it. You guys,
because you're so
don't
used
try
to
and salvage
hearing.
that.
I was so used to hearing it how it was, and I didn't like how it was anyway. And
Yeah.
then you did a new one, and I was like, oh, now I don't even know if that sounds right, because I was so used to hearing how it was. So we had a couple of sessions, didn't we? And then I was like, right, you've got to zone out of what it was and zone into what it is. And we got there, didn't we? It wasn't too hard, actually. It was pretty smooth.
No, it was very smooth sailing.
Yeah,
nice. And it is a super smooth track as well. It's beautiful, really. And now, Grant, what does Grand Theft Audio mean to you?
It's I would say GTA. It's one of my two homes in the D&B scene. I say me. There's actually two of us in Perplex. So there's Andy as well. He does a bit of the production and a lot of the DJing, but he could make it so. But yeah, so GTA. We've been had our first release with them, I think, back early 2021, which is a big Neuro stomper tune, which did pretty well, to be honest. And then since then, yeah, had a couple more releases on their sort of big albums, and our first collab with them, which is a pleasure to do with James, which was on their recent album called Tesla Coils. And yeah, got a fair few tunes lined up, hopefully an EP in the future. Yeah, and I share Pixis's views. An absolute pleasure to work with the guys. Their communication is amazing. I can't fault it. Always giving good feedback on tunes. I think that's why I like working with them, because you don't get that from some of the big labels. I've had releases with Program and Korsakoff, and it's great to get that exposure, but you don't get the personal sort of feedback on every tune on how to improve it, and that's why I like my work with them.
Yeah,
cheers, man. Thank you.
That's amazing. It's the personal touch that really kind of means something and has a lot of value, really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
I find James a really good mentor.
Something that, like, as we've gotten bigger, like I think we've now signed tunes by something like 75, 80 people. Yeah. So it's just trying to scale up that personal touch when you have like 32 people on it. Sorry, it's 52 people on an album. It's 32 tracks, but there's like 52 that have made tracks for this annual that we're putting out next month, and just trying to scale up that personal touch and spread it across so many people is it's one of the challenges, but it's so important to me that I and to Robbie, we make sure that we always find time for the people on the label.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that must be harder and harder the bigger the family grows, really.
Yeah, and the more demands outside of the label, on us as Solar. So, but it's important enough to us that we make sure we prioritize it.
Eska, tell me about your thoughts on Grand Theft Audio and what the label stands for to you.
I mean, it stands for like, a top-notch label to me. I mean, I originally, was looking for some new places to shop tunes for, and they, the label caught my eye, and I started sending some tunes. I think, the first probably, you know, a lot of them, you know, I don't think I got any response or anything like that, if I remember correctly, which is normal, you know, very normal, for, you know, sending out. And then I think eventually I caught their ear, and they had an LP, I think it was, and I can't even think of the name right now, the track. But anyways, they end up picking that up, and from there we just kind of built a relationship, and I really appreciated how professional and how friendly and just how easy they were to work with, and I just loved it. So it was just, since then, you know, I've just been working with them, and, you know, sending them tunes and just trying to help out when I can. And
Go on, cool. It seems like the label really reflects, you know, the kind of wide arm style that Solar has been known for, really.
So yeah, although technically there's stuff that we much prefer, you know, we're happy for someone to send us something that's like liquid, or something that's jungle, something that's jump up, something that's neuro, dance floor. Like vibe wise, we're very open, but technical wise, we do have set standards that we're really keen on adhering to.
We have a uniform level of quality as opposed to a uniform sound, I think, as well.
Yes.
So how about you, J Foulman? What does Grand Theft Audio stand for to you? And what's it mean to you?
Well, they owe them everything, man. They put out like my first ever tunes. You know, I've done like multiple collabs with Solar. They've always been like super like approachable, really like, you know, optimistic in terms of like feedback and stuff. It's all like really like things you can work on and kind of adapt, and you can learn so much of them as well. They're always like happy to accept tunes off me if I'm like, I need to take a break. They're like, cool, we'll give you a bit of space and that. But they're my mates as well now. So like, I feel like it's more than a label in a way. It's been like a stepping stone into like, you know, networking and making friends and stuff like that.
Thank you for that.
Well,
Nice.
thanks, man. That means a lot. The first thing that I say to people, and first thing that Robbie says to people when we sign a new tune for them, the very first tune is we say, "Welcome to the family." It's a little catchphrase. Everyone gets it once when they sign their first tune to us. Welcome to the family.
Go on,
And
that's cool.
we try and be like a family, all support each other and stuff, even on releases that don't come out on Grand Theft Audio, you know, because a rising tide raises all ships, you know.
It really, really does. And that's not the first time that's been said in these type of interviews that I've been doing over Zoom as well. And I think that's probably, this day and age, with things as hard as they are, that's probably one of the best secrets for success, is working together. Many hands making light work, really, isn't it?
100%. I agree with that.
I just realised we've collabed with everybody on this call, including Pixis and Shaper.
Including Pixis and Shaper, yeah. And Perplex.
And Perplex, yeah.
And now, Grant, tell us about Check This VIP, and what is the secret to a good VIP?
Well, I don't know if I could tell you. That's my first VIP that we've done.
Oh wow, go on, cool.
Yeah, no. James came to us and said, you know, got this opportunity to get a tune on this EP for your Patreon, and I know you had the original Check This on your Freshest D&B playlist, so thought you must have liked it. Yeah. So had a crack at doing VIP and just tried to improve it and make it a bit more, a bit filthier. You know, improve the drums, keep the same sort of vibe, but yeah, just improve it really. And yeah, that's how it went down. Brilliant.
That's cool. I mean, it's what's it like when you go back over an old project, because you're always learning, aren't you, as a producer? So it's very hard then when you go back over an old project, because you look at how you were with sounds or techniques and stuff like that. And I think with a lot of artists, when they go back in over an old project, they just want to completely redo everything really, because you're learning so much all of the time and things move so rapidly, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's right. I think actually with this VIP, I pretty much redid all of the drums, I'm never happy with the drums. I don't know why. I just always feel like I'm improving them. So every time I start a new tune, the drums are always fresh from the start. And yeah, redid all the bass lines pretty much. But you know, I think with the VIP, you've got to keep some of the original sounds in there to keep the original vibe in the tune. But yeah, it was a good experience, and yeah, definitely going to do a few more in the future. That's for sure.
Oh, cool. So that's got your VIP. How are you, Ryan?
Yeah, cracking. Thanks. Yourself, Dave?
Yeah, I'm really, really good. Great to have
Good.
you on the call. We're literally just wrapping up.
Oh,
But
no,
we're going to
typical.
find out about. So first, thank you for the tune. Thank you for Yes, Dave. That's
No worries.
amazing. You appealed to my no Daviness. Tell me all about the tune, man.
Well, yeah, I've been basically, yeah, James hit me up a while back for it. Obviously, with everything going on, I've been struggling a bit with getting on music, but I just had an idea because I've listened to Vision Radio for ages now, and there was just no more No Dave. I resonated with me, you know. So I thought, yeah, why not? I'll just make him a really, really Larry tune, his own anthem, because you deserve it. You've done enough for the scene.
Brilliant, brilliant. When I first heard it, I got in touch with James. I was like, somebody's gone in for a Vision Radio play with this, man.
Not
We had to make
intentionally.
that the A side. As soon as we heard it, I was like, Rob, we have to make this the A side.
No, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I mean, kind of wrapping up, we've been chatting about kind of production and our roads into this game and Grand Theft Audio in general, really. And I mean, what does Grand Theft Audio stand for you, really? When I say Grand Theft Audio, what do you think of, Ryan?
Honestly, for me, the future. It's such a forward-thinking record label. I mean, James, Robbie, everyone as part of it is just constantly pushing that sort of new generation and that new sound, like whether it's dance floor, whether it's the jungle, whether it's anything. It's just this wonderful new sound that they're pushing, and it's really, really good to be a part of it. An honor, actually.
Oh, that's brilliant. And it gives you that kind of blank canvas. This is what we were talking about before as an artist. You know that anything that you send to them, they're going to listen to with open ears, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tune I've got out there with them already, Ragamuffin, that's just like, I don't normally make a lot of real tear out jungle. And I was like, I just want to give it a go. You know, mate, you know me, I try and make everything. And for them to pick it up, which was for me amazing because it was just this random tune I made. I loved it. Loved it. And yeah, it's been a really, really solid home. Everyone at the label is so supportive and so quick to reply, even when I'm not necessarily. But yeah, it's
That's one
been
thing I
wonderful.
really hoped we would do is give producers like room to breathe creatively. So like I'm glad that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, we quite often you think of labels as having like a sound and you know, like a very, very specific sound. And the labels that tend to be thriving recently are ones that do have that really specific sound, like, I don't know, Gradient or Overview. And, you know, we just wanted to be like really diverse, like sort of old labels. Like you think of like Ram and Hospital, like Hospital's got like Deep Liquid on it, but then it's also got like dance floor stuff by Metric. And then it's also got, you know, like Jump Up stuff from Kings of the Rollers, you know, and obviously Ram's incredibly diverse as well, and we just sort of wanted to bring that older, anything goes as long as it's good music vibe.
That's the spirit, and that is drum and bass, really, in a nutshell. Really, that was always the beauty of it, is that ability to throw in any type of influence, any type of sound and idea, put it with an amen, put it with a wicked breakbeat at that tempo, and it'll work. Really, that's the beauty of this genre, really, in that type of way. Just a load of silent nodding.
Absolutely.
Just a load
Totally
of
agree with
silent
you there.
nodding. What's the sound of 6 people nodding at once?
J-File, give me a tip.
Just get stuck in, don't give up, just carry on. Just even if you don't succeed straight away, just put the hours in and it'll pay off eventually. It might take you like 20, 30 years. Like look at people like T.I. and that who are just blowing up now when they're like 40s. Do you know what I mean? And they've been around forever. So like just get stuck in, put the hours in the studio, reach out to people, you know, get involved in the scene.
Brilliant. Get stuck in. How about you, Eska?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. Like, just don't give up. Like, you know, it could be 10, 20 years. I mean, that could take you to get to where you want to go 30 years, you know, just don't give up. If you really like believe that you'll get there. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as like, you know, people, I guess, searching for creativity or whatnot, I guess, or however you want to say that, I guess, suggestion. I mean, I personally, like, I listen to a lot of drum and bass for like DJing purposes and when I'm DJing, but like when I sit down to get like influence, I mean, I just listen to like anything from like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, you know, like all eras, all sorts of music. And I'll just, you know, just listen to stuff and just, you know, just feel it. And just, you know, I think that's kind of how I get a lot of my, you know, inspiration too. So, yeah.
Definitely. I've spoken to so many artists. I think a lot of fans are always quite shocked when their favorite artists don't listen to that much drum and bass during the day or outside of their work. But when it's your work, you need that breathing space, that mental breathing space to be able to clear the canvas. I think, Ryan, you and I have actually spoken about that in interviews. I think listening to other stuff and having other influences.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I listen to all sorts. Weirdly though, my main listening, just for when I'm casually listening, is drum and bass. I like to hear what other people are doing so I can kind of do my own thing. You know, I want to hear what sounds are already being done a lot and just try and do something a bit different. I love a lot of drum and bass. I love the way that everyone else does it, but I kind of want to do my own thing. Doesn't mean I doesn't want to listen to them, you know. But no, I think listening to something completely different, like blues or northern soul, is my tune on the Floodlight album. It really does help you bring a very unique influence into your sound and just just make it your own, you know.
Totally. And what advice? We're going to sign out in a moment now. So what advice would you give anybody watching this who is looking for advice or any cool tips?
Do your own thing. It's very easy to look at the quick rise of a lot of artists and want to try and follow their journey or follow their sound. But for me, I've been doing this 15 years and I've only really started getting my name out there now. But I've always wanted to do my own thing and be my own unique sound. I'm not saying that I have a unique sound, that'd be arrogant, but I've always strived to have that. And I think that's so important for a new artist, is just to try and do your own thing and not copy other people, because you'll just end up being their Mark II, you know?
Definitely. Right.
Sorry,
I'm
can
going
I
to go
just
like
throw
this, and I'm
shade
going to
for a
point
second?
like this to a link now, which hopefully, if I've got my YouTubeology right, is going to link to your mix and the interview that we did about 3-4 months ago, when I literally just launched One More Thing. And I would very much say that you are developing and have got your own signature. And
Yeah,
it does
sorry,
take
I
that
was
long
just
to
about
echo
to say
what
exactly the
everybody's
same
saying, you know,
thing.
like,
Like you say that you don't have a distinct sound, but you really do. Like everything from the way your drums sound, the way that your basses sound, the way that your vocals sound, everything has your own unique sound. And like,
Thank you.
you know, like
Really appreciate
some of I think that No Dave tune that you sent me, I literally said to Robbie, didn't I, Rob? I said, if I didn't know who this was by, I would say it's by Shaper.
It's a natural sound as well. Like you haven't forced yourself into.
You haven't forced yourself.
You can just tell it's made by one
into
person.
it. Yeah, 100%.
You don't want to see my
correct you. You
production process.
absolutely have your own sound, and it's great. It's absolutely fantastic,
Thank
and
you.
you're going to go far with it.
Likewise with you guys, Solar is just so unique. It's amazing. You're smashing it.
yeah, it is really cool to see you guys smashing it, and to see the label smashing it, and to see your the album out there, and the people who aren't on the call but will be on the call once we've edited it all together, various star wipey type of ways.
Oh, it's so nice to be able to give something back to you, Dave. It really is.
That's what I was saying. It's nice to be able to give something back, and it's also nice to be able to introduce some of the people from the label to you, and you know, because you like Grant said, you've been featuring them in the
on the
playlist and that sort of thing. So you know, you get a chance to sort of make a connection for the people who are on the label, you know.
No, definitely. Thank you so much. And yeah, lots more support to come. So now we're going to fade with a star wipe, or go like this, or do something crazy, and some type of transition will happen. And everybody will go out and check out. Thank you. Thanks for joining me, and thank you so much for the music.
Cheers, Dave. Thanks so much, man. And thank you everyone for coming tonight, and for making a tune for Dave. I think this is like a really good look for Grand Theft Audio. It's a good look for yourselves. It's a good look for One More Thing. It's like win.
And it's a good look for drum and bass. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah.
I hope you get a star wipe out after It's a Good Look for Drum and Bass. That, if anything deserves a star wipe, that's what deserves it. Yeah, but with like a little, your tooth needs to shine. Like.
Awesome. And thank you to everybody who's watched this and checked out the tunes and everything and supports One More Thing. It's absolutely amazing. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, because that's what YouTubers seem to say. It doesn't seem to have any effect on these videos at all, but I'm saying it anyway. Thank you, everybody, and good night or good day.
Smash that subscribe button now.
One more thing. One more thing. One more thing.